never seen a bigger snob.
Yo, what's up? Bill here for Classic Rock and Metal Review. Here to give you the lowdown. This is my first time foray into an area of the collector's market where they take classic, either sealed, new old stock, or mint condition, classic old original vinyl, transfer them to CD. Like I said, I've been avoiding this area of the market since it came out. So let's see how they hold up to the vinyl editions and the other CD editions. Pretty surprised. I really haven't been this stoked about doing a video in quite a while. It's such a kind of an eye-opening experience with these. One more so than the other. So we'll get into all that. We'll get into all the reasons why, if you were like me for all these years and thinking this was just utter nonsense and just another copy of something you already have, think again. This is something pretty damn interesting. Before we get started, if you can like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Hope you guys all had a great holiday weekend and have a good holiday season coming up. So, I mean, let's just start out with why. Why would you even want an old vinyl onto a CD? I mean, really, that was my attitude, like I said. Let us count the ways, all right? What we have here, by the way, specifically is 1972 Vertigo UK LP onto, happens to be a CDR. I'll explain that in a second. You know my views on them, right? Pretty clear by now. This guy is the Warner Brothers US LP from 1978. So why would you even want something like this? Like I said, do we need another damn version of something we've already got probably 2, 3, 4 of? Well, the obvious answer is, it's preserving, theoretically, if the music sounds like it's purported to be, right? Direct transfer from a mint condition album, and sometimes they'll even have sealed old copies that they'll use. Then theoretically, you're preserving that classic vinyl sound. I mean, let's face it, if you had one of these albums, maybe you wouldn't even think to do this, but you probably should transfer a copy of that to a CD, just to save the wear and tear on the vinyl. Every time that needle runs across those grooves, you're losing a little of the detail. Any vinyl person knows that. I'm not a huge vinyl guy. I do know some vinyl basics. That would be one. Number two is, and this literally just happened yesterday afternoon. I was really trying to get my hands on an original UK 1972 LP, mint condition. I was on eBay. I did bid, I think, $120, and I lost because it ended up being almost $200. So there's that. Maybe if this sounds like it's supposed to, you're getting something for $8 or $20, depending if it's CDR or CD, versus spending hundreds of dollars. So there's that. And this is also something that really the bands themselves with their, super deluxe editions haven't even done something like this. It's always a remaster, sometimes not even that, right? Well, again, it's just further tinkering, getting further and further away from the original mix. There are examples of these out there where it's quadraphonic mixes, so it's not just the standard old first press. You got these other versions out there. So there's a bunch of different reasons why you might want to do these. They even press some 8-tracks to CD. Now, I don't have any of those yet. The sequencing, maybe you grew up with the 8-track. You just got used to that alternate sequencing, right? There's 4 programs, and they would just reshuffle the song so they would somehow fit on 4 different 10-minute or less programs. And then there's Pink Floyd's Animals, right? You have 2 pigs on the wings joined together, bridged by a guitar solo that wasn't on the CD or the album or the cassette. So occasionally there's unique material on an 8-track. So really there are quite a bit of reasons to do this. And the other reason might be if you're not a vinyl collector, you're a CD collector. I do collect both, mostly CD. I just like the convenience of it, the fact that it's never going to really wear out theoretically. It goes into my iTunes, it goes in my iPod, it goes in my car. So really the only place I can listen to vinyl is my living room, so the portability of it. But like I said, if you're not a vinyl collector at all, then here's your way to get a vinyl sound from a CD. So start thinking about it. There's really quite a few reasons to do this, And like I said earlier, if you have the vinyl, if you don't want to play that 5 or 6 times a year, maybe you play it twice a year, play this 4 times a year, right? But that all only really matters if it sounds like it's supposed to. So, like I said, my first impression when these first came out 12 or 14 years ago or so, I was really only in the bootleg market to get stuff I didn't have. So it's part of the reason I ignored it. And the other would be that I thought, well, now you're transferring it to a CD, so now you're digitizing that too, and isn't that sort of contradictory? Well, maybe in a way, but not really when you think about it. Whatever the source is going on in that CD theoretically should be exactly what's there. Now, of course, you probably have some digital noise, but anyway, let's just get to it. So why did I even bother in the first place starting out? So I was placing a larger Japan order a couple of months ago. Ran across this for $9 CDR. I thought I'd just take a chance, curiosity basically. And coincidentally, right around the same time up on eBay, I was just searching Black Sabbath CD. I filtered lowest price. This came up for $1. I don't see it on CD from the Japan market, but somebody probably got it as a bonus CDR with another product. $9 for each of these CDRs. Now, as much as I complain about CDRs, it's really because I hate the slim line. There's nothing on the side, so it sits up on my shelf. I can't tell what the heck I'm looking at. I got to figure it out, There's that, but then there's also the problem where I've had multiple of these skip. I could pick them up as bonuses for $4 or what have you. Occasionally spend $9 on something but I think I've had 4 or 5 of them skip out of the 20 something that I own. So it's too high up now, but I don't mind the sound. I think the sound of them is fine when they play normal. All right, so enough of that. So let's get into some comparison. We'll start with Volume 4. What I have for Volume 4 is, like I said, I don't have the original UK Vertigo. I have the 2016 vinyl out of the Black Sabbath vinyl collection that came out a couple years ago. That was a 2012 remaster as far as I can tell. Sounds really good. I also have, an 80s. This was one of the first CDs I ever owned. This the first year I owned a CD player. I got this. There's no date on it, but I bought it in '88. So it's first press CD, Warner Brothers. So there's that. And then, of course, got the Super Deluxe Edition and the highly praised remaster from 2021. Andy Pierce and is it Matt Wortham? Remastered this. High praise for this. I really thought this was the, going to be my go-to edition when I wanted to hear Volume 4. So, how is it? It's freaking amazing. The clarity of everything on here is just incredible. Cymbals sound like they're being played a room or two away from where I'm listening. The cowbell bonks in Tomorrow's Dream bonks between one side of my room and the other side of my room. This is a standard CD setup I got here. I have 2 speakers. All right, it almost sounds surround. Snowblind, the drums in that shuffle. I don't even know if I think I picked it up before here and there. It's so clear that Ward is shuffling that drum beat. I'm really I've been listening to this thing nonstop for the last month. I've heard it 3 times. I sometimes listen to it just to make myself believe that I'm hearing what I'm hearing, or what I heard a few days ago or a week ago. It's that good. It's outstanding. The volume, it reacts just like an album. If you have a CD on 2, you need to put this on 2 3/4 to get the same volume. So it kind of acts like vinyl. The vinyl from 2016, 2012 remaster, it's nice, it's good. It doesn't compare in clarity to this thing, It's just unmatched. I'm trying to think what other specifics. I can tell you that the 2016 album it's warm, it's just lacking the clarity of all those instruments that I just told you about. It's also kind of on the bassy side. But it's nice though. It's a decent remaster, and I think it's pretty well established that those remasters from 2012 were some of the best. The 2021 Super Deluxe Edition remaster, it kind of seems like a combination of the 2012 vinyl and the old school CD. It's got some of the harshness and some of a little bit of the metallic punch of a CD, but it does have some detail the CD doesn't have. So this is still great. And really, honestly, it's really kind of fun to have all these different versions. I have to say that the original 80 CD is definitely going to be the one I rarely play at this point. This is my go-to Volume 4. I'm shocked, I'm blown away. That's all there is to say about that. The vinyl's still cool to play once in a while, and the remaster from 2021, kind of a different listening experience, really. But the purest, most vinyl-like, just more natural, warm sound, the CDR, you heard it, CDR, of Volume 4. Incredible. It doesn't even have a label because the packaging on this is just a reproduction of the original. I don't know if this is the back of the album or the inside of the album. I'm not even sure since I don't own it. I don't have a spare 200 hours right before Christmas, so. But that's the back, which is actually just a tray card, with the CDR. So there's another aspect of it. You only get this one little cheap card. So nothing on the side to read, like we already talked about. I like how they have the orange-ish Ozzy versus the the CD that came out later. It's more yellow. Kind of hard to tell in this light, actually. But and then just the simple CD itself, telling you that we are listening to the Vertigo UK LP 1972 8360-071. So amazing. Never Say Die. This is supposed to represent, now I actually do happen to have, I only have one old school Sabbath of the Ozzy era. I would say it's very good condition, maybe very good plus. The cover's in like almost mint, actually. I got this about 6 years ago, used, $8. Vinyl's a little poppy, especially on side one. Sounds like somebody, whoever owned this before me, kind of, back when I had this back in the day, I used to play side one all the time. Rarely go to side two. Side two I got more into about 15 years ago. Now the whole album, love it, except for Breakout. Anyway, so I actually own the exact Warner Brothers 1978 BSK 3186 LP. So I compared the CDR of it to the 80s CD that I have, and also the vinyl album out of the vinyl album collection 2012 remaster. Okay, so 4 versions again of this, and in this case the actual album it's supposed to represent. I would say with this one, this CDR is slightly closer to the original CD sound, or the original LP sound rather, sorry. But in all honesty, I really think the 2012 remaster kind of sounds better than the original album. It just seems to have a good combination of everything. It's clear. The instrumentation just sounds a little more natural. The original album here sounds a little harsh and a little abrasive. So I think the CD from the 80s just kind of represented the original album. And I would probably say that this CDR of the original album is probably the second nicest thing to listen to. Only because you don't have any of the pops and things that I have on my old vintage album. So it's a clean version of the original album. I would say the best sounding version of Never Say Die that I own is the version from the vinyl collections. The 2016 is the date on it, but it sounds like it was remastered in 2012. So mixed verdict here with Never Say Die. I would basically say not impressed. Although I would say, you know what, if you want a CD copy of this album, just for preservation's sake, you want something better sounding than the 80s CD, then it does do that, all right? But it's not night and day like Volume 4 was. So what's the final verdict on all this? So as you can see, it's kind of a mixed bag, right? The UK 72 Volume 4 blows me away. Never Say Die is kind of tangible. It's kind of fun having all the versions though, really, because they're going to serve different purposes at different times. The CDs go to the car and the albums don't, so there's that. The other thing too is when I'm looking, I scoured the Japan site that I use all the time. They have dozens and dozens of these, but most of them are just CDRs. Okay, so unfortunately, Never Say Die skips in 5 or 6 places. It's not my player. It skips in the same places in my car. I loaded it in iTunes. It seemed to go in there properly, but then it's not really the same. But this is not available on CD, nor is Volume 4. And it looks like the case with most of the CDR vinyl transfers on the Japan site. They are not available on CD. It's either CDR or it's CDR only for most of them. They do have some CDs, so I started plucking them, just because it seems like they're phasing these out, so get them while you can. I went and got the Sabbath 1970 original UK album. Haven't heard this one yet. So Aerosmith Rocks Quadraphonic Mix. I listened to a couple songs on headphones last night. Very interesting. Can't wait to crank that up loud. And a couple of straight transfers. These sound like they might be from acetates. It's a little unclear on the source of these. Just kind of taking a chance on these with only listening to some snippets on the internet. They do sound pretty impressive listening to those. More are Atom Heart and then More. This one has some bonus tracks too that look pretty cool. So I guess you could say pretty happy with this new area of collector's market that I had previously ignored. All right, guys, that'll do it for now. If you can like and subscribe, that would be awesome. Hope you're all doing well. Have a good holiday.